This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by Atlantic Tactical Firearms Training.
People have been protecting themselves with firearms for hundreds of years now. And whether you own a firearm or not, firearm safety is something that you should know. Everyone should know, because the more educated that we are, the safer that we are. I'd like to introduce to you this afternoon Paul Stowe, who's the general manager and an instructor. Tim Otwell is an instructor, both at Atlantic Tactical Firearms Trainers in Salisbury. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Hopper.
Thank you.
Now, we're not bringing up the debate of firearms or not, right?
No, not at all.
We're talking safety.
That's correct.
Why is that so important to you?
Well, safety is important because just like anything else, it's firearm's a tool, and if you don't use the tool correctly, it can be dangerous. However, if you have the proper training and the proper knowledge behind it, it can be a fun tool, right, as just something to go out and use recreationally. It can be used something to be used for hunting, or it can be used to protect yourself and your home and your family.
Okay. Well, Paul, tell us about Atlantic Tactical Firearms Trainers.
Well, I believe we are the biggest on the Eastern Shore. We've trained thousands in the concealed and carry and the HQL in Maryland. To purchase a firearm, you need to take a 4-hour course, and we provide that at Atlantic Tactical Firearms.
And that's just to purchase? To
purchase.
Okay.
We also conduct wear and carries, which is a concealed carry from Maryland, which people aren't aware of it. Maryland does issue wear carries. You just have to have a good and substantial reason for it.
Okay, okay. Now you mentioned HQL. Tell me real quick what that is.
HQL is a handgun qualification license. It's a 5-hour course that we provide. You get the course on, and you get your fingerprints with the state of Maryland. You apply, and then they'll issue what's called a handgun qualification license. You take that with you down to the gun shop, and you purchase your firearm.
Okay, gotcha. So talk personal protection with me just a second. Tell me about it. Why is that a big deal to you?
Well, it's a big deal to me because I'm a former law enforcement officer in the state of Maryland, as well as Paul is a former law enforcement officer in the state of California. And one of the things that we are aware of as former law enforcement officers is that there is a response time if you need to protect yourself. If you call 911, that is fantastic. Law enforcement officers across the state and across the country do a great job in response. But there's always a downtime before they can get there. Right. And unfortunately, there may come a time when you have to protect yourself or your family. So knowing how to use a firearm properly is very key, because again, just because you have the firearm in your home and you can use it doesn't mean you can safely use it. And that is a big thing, because if you have it but don't know how to use it, you can do more harm than good sometimes. And that's a problem. I mean, we feel like training is imperative, and we feel like it's essential to protect yourself and your family. But there's always going to be a downtime and a response time for law enforcement to get to your house.
Because there's only so many of them there to get there.
That's correct.
So there are, and speaking of that, there are specific laws regarding firearms, and you touch on that as well.
Yeah, you can never use a firearm to protect property in the state of Maryland. Okay. You can use it to defend yourself if somebody has the ability to do you great bodily injury. A lot of people that take our courses think that, if somebody breaks into their house and they're taking their flat screen TV out, that they could use deadly force, when that's absolutely not true. Okay. You have to be in great imminent danger to use that firearm. And I would say 90% of our students that come into our course, when I ask that question, can you use deadly force to protect property, I get a bunch of hands up in the air, and that's one thing that we clear up real quick, that you cannot. So that's good information to know.
Okay, so let me get personal with you guys. Tell us about your training as instructors.
So I was a law enforcement officer in the state of Maryland for just under 13 years and suffered a couple knee injuries and had to stop doing that. I had my training with the state, which was fantastic, phenomenal training. Loved my time with the department, which I didn't have to go, but they didn't leave me much of a choice. Yeah. Beyond that, I've taken NRA instructor course training and USCCA instructor course training, which the instructors that I've had through the civilian world are phenomenal. R.S. Mitchell, the founder of Atlantic Tactical Firearms Trainers, is the NRA training counselor for the area. He's working his way towards retirement. Good for him. He's paid his dues for sure. But again, RS is the founder of Atlantic Tactical. He is one of the top NRA training instructors in the entire region. And he's just second to none when it comes to firearms training. And I've been blessed to work with him as well as others. Paul here, I'll let him talk about himself, but Paul's a former SWAT officer from California. Again, phenomenal firearms operator and great guy to work with. I really can't say enough about him.
Yeah, to piggyback off of Tim, I've had many years as a policeman in California. I worked the Los Angeles area, so I experienced the good and the bad of crime. I'm a NRA range safety officer. I'm a state of Maryland certified instructor. And to piggyback with Tim also on that with Mr. Mitchell, he's been a mentor of mine. Everything I know is because of that man, and it's sad to see him go, but we are going to carry on a legacy.
He's quite, I've met him and talked to him. He's an amazing man.
That he is.
He is.
Really, really is. Paul Stoa, Tim Otwell, gentlemen, thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon about Atlantic Tactical Firearms Trainers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harvey.